Oh, I didn't mind you were over here.
Okay, ready, guys? Good evening. Today is Tuesday, April 16th, 2024. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heather, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Bachman.
Here.
Councilmember Lundberg.
Here.
Mayor Sullivan.
Here.
Councilmember Pratt.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Grabowski.
Here.
Councilmember Martin Pontiac.
Here.
City Manager.
Here.
City Attorney.
Here.
DPW Director.
Here.
Finance Director.
Here.
Community Development Director.
Here.
Police Chief. Fire Chief.
Here.
City Engineer.
Here.
Roll call complete.
Thank you. I would like to make a motion to amend the agenda to remove items 8, new business, consideration of decertifying vacating North Street, and consideration of decertifying vacating a portion of 14th Street to allow for additional discussion on these items at a future meeting to provide notification to the property owners. Do I have a second?
Second.
Heather, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Bachman.
Yes.
Councilmember Lundberg.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilmember Pratt.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Grabowski.
Yes.
Councilmember Martin Pontiac. Yes. Motion approved.
Thank you. Public hearing on 2024-2025 budget and capital improvement plan. The city fiscal year runs from July 1st to June 30th under Section 7-4 of the Charter, and public hearing is required on the budget must be adopted no later than May 15th of each year. A study session was held on Tuesday, April 9th, and a budgeted discussion is on the agenda for later this evening. An optional budget study session could be added April 23rd. The budget calendar anticipates adoption of the budget at the Tuesday, May 7th meeting. At this time, the public has an opportunity to comment on the 2024 budget and capital improvement plan. Is there any public comments on the budget? I can't see. Yes.
Hi, my name is Gladys Kearns. We just moved here recently.
Can you state your address too, please?
Yes, 271 3rd Street.
Thank you.
And we noticed that there was a blight officer half-time in the budget, and we are here to support that. I live next door to this. I'd be glad to share these pictures with you all.
You can leave it with the clerk, sorry.
And I have been in contact with Jerry Blue, and we're really concerned about it catching on fire. It is open in the top floor, and birds and bats are congregating and having a good time in there. But we're very concerned about the fire danger, and it is very close to our house. So just wanted to support that blight officer so that can kind of speed along. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. The public hearing is closed at 7:03. Citizens' comments on agenda-related items, limited to 5 minutes. And just for the record, since there was discrepancies last time, some people were over, some people were shorted, the city clerk will take minutes. Nobody? Okay, consent agenda. All items marked with an asterisk are on the consent agenda, the city manager to be routine matters. Prior to approval, any member of council may have an item removed and taken up during the regular portion of the meeting. Items include approval of minutes, payroll, invoices, consideration of ordinance 24-05 to amend chapter 1480 property maintenance code of the city of Manistee, Michigan codified ordinances. At this time, council could take action to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Heather, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Bachman.
Yes.
Councilmember Lundberg.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilmember Pratt.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Grabowski.
Yes.
Councilmember Martin Pontiac.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Consideration of a mooring agreement with Harbor Tours LLC. The Princess of Manistee, operated by Harbor Tours LLC, has requested a one-year mooring agreement with the City of Manistee. The agreement allows the vessel to dock along the Riverwalk and utilize a gangway to access the vessel. The seasonal rate would remain the same as 2023 at $6,063, and in exchange, the Princess will fuel at the city marina. At this time, council could take action to approve the mooring agreement with Harbor Tours LLC for the 2024 boating season and authorize the city clerk and mayor to execute the agreement. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Jeff, how long have we been doing this street? I know it's been a while.
How long have we been what?
Do you know when this street got put in?
We're on the Harbor Tours down.
A and B, they moved.
Oh, okay, I was on 14th Street.
So no question?
How long have we had this agreement with them?
We started off with a 3-year agreement. They were moored in the Ludington Harbor. We actually worked to draw them here because they were having some issues with their dockage. That 3-year agreement started off with a fairly substantial discount on the dockage. Second year, it brought it up a little bit, and then last year was at the market rate. This year, and so that's why we did a formal agreement for that seasonal. This year, we sent them our standard seasonal agreement that we send to all of them, and he said, well, I have special considerations. I want to be in the same place. I want to have the gangway that's out on the Riverwalk. And as a gesture of goodwill, if you could hold the rate from last year, and then I'll still agree to purchase fuel and do pump outs at the marina. So it's less than $100 in difference between last year's rate and this year's. So I thought that was a fair consideration. And he's also an attorney, so he liked having that agreement that Michael Myers put together. So this would be year 4.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Heather, would you please take roll? Thank you, Jeff.
Councilmember Bachmann.
Yes.
Councilmember Lundberg.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilmember Pratt.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Grabowski.
Yes,
Councilmember Martin Pontiac. Motion approved.
Thank you. Consideration of local government approval for Michigan Liquor Control Commission liquor license for Manistee Hotel and Bar LLC located at 200 Arthur Street. Manistee Hotel and Bar LLC is applying for to the Michigan Liquor Control Commission, MLCC, for an on-premise resort liquor license for the Manistee Hotel located at 200 Arthur Street. Part of the application includes local government approval. At this time, council could take action to approve the resolution supporting the request by the Manistee Hotel and Bar LLC for the new MLCC on-premises resort liquor license. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Heather, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Bachmann.
Yes.
Councilmember Lundberg.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilmember Pratt.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Grabowski.
yes,
Councilmember Martin Pontiac.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Consideration of approval of additional funding for investigation of PFAS mitigation originating from the former city landfill site. City staff met with Fishback to review the findings related to PFAS groundwater contamination originating from the former landfill site. The proposed next phase of work includes additional sampling, disposal of contaminated soils, and a report to Eagle with the proposed next steps for mitigating the risk. At this time, council could approve additional funding in the amount of $43,281 for the investigation of PFAS mitigation originating from the former city landfill site and authorize the city manager to execute the documents. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Can we get some information on this for the public, kind of where we're at and what this next phase would?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Aaron from Fishbeck is here. On the screen, you'll see some of the sampling results, and we'll go over that. Thank you.
Like me to go over the kind of the sampling results.
Please.
So as you can see on the map, if you could scroll down a little bit, I'm not sure who's in control of it, to the bottom of the page. That the yellow outline at the bottom is the landfill property, and there's a lot going on this map. I apologize. Up north of the landfill, you can see the horizontal lines. Those represent the groundwater flow leaving the landfill to the kind of to the northwest. So if you look at it like a topographic map, it's downhill is to the northwest toward that northern location with the well. And so we have some exceedances of PFAS criteria at the landfill property line on the north. And then we have just barely an exceedance. It's not even of a drinking water criteria. It's of a groundwater surface water interface criteria at that northern location that you can see on there at the top of the kind of horizontal lines. And so in theory, everything between that location and the landfill is probably above criteria. So we notified those property owners, so that was required by the state to do that within 45 days of receiving the results. And we want to go back out and grab another round of samples out there from the new wells that we installed and some of the older ones on the property, and then check the water levels again and make sure groundwater flow is where we think it is, and then kind of see where the path forward is going to go from there. Right now, it's looking like we have a pretty good handle on it. The state may end up asking for a little bit more, a couple more wells or something, just to make sure that we've got the plume under control. We know where it is vertically and horizontally, but yeah, so that's where we are right now. We just have a few items to finish up and hopefully move forward from there with a plan, for a long-term plan.
So there's a new development, looks like going in along Fox Farm Road, right?
Where's that in relative to this? I'm not certain.
Fox Farm's at the bottom of the yellow here. No,
Okay.
that's Atomic Road.
To the south?
Wait, Bill, do you know if that development is gonna get municipal water from Filer Township? There wouldn't be all wells up in there, correct?
Correct.
You know
I believe
what I'm talking about?
we have bond company, they need to connect to city water, correct? Is that what the? Township water.
It wouldn't be wells, right?
I mean, there's a water tower right there. I think the Filer Township water tower is right there north of the landfill. So, yeah, I'm not sure where the source of their water is, but it's comes in on water mains, I assume.
We don't
So,
have
yeah.
one based on that development in there, Jeff?
To try to answer your question, Fox Farm is quite a bit farther south. And what Fishbeck has done is, if you look at that yellow square, that's the 40 acres that was the original landfill site of the cities. So it is believed that the PFAS is generating from material that was placed in that landfill over 50 years ago. There's no evidence that it's flowing south, east, or west. Most of it is going to the north a short distance. And the properties that are to the north are served by municipal water from Filer Township. Does that answer your question?
It's close enough. I just wondered if you knew anything about that new unit development I'm talking about by
I
the
do
park. In back of Princeton, there's a park there at the end of Princeton Street. And that huge lot back there, they've
Okay.
opened up about 40 acres, they're gonna build houses, they put an entrance on Fox Farm Road.
So actually, that's 15th Street that comes in, that kind of tees into, or 90s into Princeton and Greenwich, and then Mack Park is right there. My understanding is that property was owned by Morton Salt, and they clear cut it, and then they've donated some of that property to Habitat for Humanity. And then also on Murky Road is the same condition where Morton owned property there, and I believe they've donated a lot of that land to Habitat for Humanity. On 15th Street, there's a private home that's being built.
Right.
And I'm not sure, that doesn't appear to be within the influence of this site. But we do have water main on Maple Street that could be connected, and we do have it at Princeton and 15th. Across the street from where that looks like that home is being constructed, I have had conversations with that realtor and gave them numbers on what it would take to extend water to serve the lots in there as well.
Has the township been made aware of all what's happening out there with all this? They're aware of it?
Township and the health department, yes,
Okay, all right,
and the
thank you.
county.
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
We even had an intergovernmental meeting, we talked about that too. So they're well aware of it.
Okay. Now I am too. Thank you.
So the yellow lines are where it's contained, is that what?
No, that's just the landfill property bound.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, we don't really have an outline of like the plume, as it were, on this map yet, because it's not super well defined. But
Okay.
yeah, within the yellow is the source, at least.
Okay.
The landfill, so.
So now is that flume stopped, or is it still flowing slowly, or?
I mean, how long has it been there?
Since the 70s. So I think we know kind of we think we know the northerly boundary, the east and west, and then it's probably, Eagle might require us to monitor it to see if it moves, so.
To see if it changes with time. I mean, it's been there for a long time, so chances are it's gonna show some stability, but.
Been about
they-
70 years.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Anybody else? Thank you.
Yep.
thank you.
Heather, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Bachmann.
Yes.
Councilmember Lundberg.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilmember Pratt.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Grabowski.
Yes,
Councilmember Martin Pontiac. Yes. Motion approved.
Thank you. Now we will have a report from Alternatives for Area Youth, Ms. Sheila Kaminsky.
Good evening. Thank you for the invitation. Here we are again. Later. Heather, oh, you did it. Thank you. I am Sheila Kaminsky. I represent the Alternatives for Area Youth 501c3 organization. They have been designated by the city and the school to run the warming shelter at Sands Park. It has turned into the rec at Sands Park because now we serve a lot of different people than what we used to serve when they first started. Our kids start about 8 years old from the neighborhood. They're always in there saying, you know, hi and what's to play today. And then there is that we provide a safe place for the children to come after school and socialize and play games. They can play outdoors if they choose to. We offer equipment for them to use on the softball field. We used to have tennis equipment. We don't do that anymore. We're still wondering what's going to happen with the tennis courts. We don't know, so it's on our list of things to wonder about. This picture shows you that the big day of serving, the people in Manistee, the organizations and the corporations got together for the big day of serving. They came and painted our building. That was like a really nice thing for them to do, put us on the list to improve us. So that's how we collaborate with some of the people in this. You know, I don't know what we do to help them as much as they do to help us, except for watch their kids and keep them safe from everything else that's going to happen. I guess I need to move on. This is the board of directors that we have at the rec. It has changed over the years, so I keep showing up, but the board of directors seems to change, all except for Linda Chick, Cindy Fuller. I think everybody else has turned over, but those two ladies have really put a lot of work into what happens over there. They try to keep us on the straight and narrow. Cindy Sheatham and I both work 20 hours a week right now. We're only open 3 until 7 every day except Sunday. Hopefully in the summer we'll change that a little bit, maybe longer, maybe different, I don't know. We haven't decided yet, but we will offer a lot more in the summer, just like we do in the winter. When there's ice skating, we have 500 people in there over a weekend, and we work noon until 9, just making sure everybody's having a good time. And the skates are all taken care of. We have over 500 pair of skates that we have turned over. We tossed a lot out. We had some when I first started there. 50 years old already. Well, I've been there 20 years, so add that. We have a lot of new skates. People have donated generously from their garages, from their attics, from Christmas. They come and they donate their skates, so we have a lot of skates to offer. The school uses the skate park in the winter when the phys ed class will come down and use the ice for skating, get the kids exposed a little bit, and phys ed, they have to call it. Can't call it gym anymore, phys ed. We have people that ask us about private parties. They want to come on a day we aren't open. We go ahead and open up for them. Most people are happy enough to come and have their party right during working hours, so everybody's included. They include all the kids that come in off the street, and it's just a nice atmosphere. Nobody's upset about, oh, those kids came to my party. No, they just showed up at the park, but they all get along pretty well together. Central Wellness uses our building on a daily basis. They go there with their clients to rehab or help socialize. The health department and Staircase for Youth Services also come in on occasion and do programs together. Rita uses the facility in the summertime for her summer program and on these occasions when she has these little pop-up parties. So we're busy all summer long, all fall long, all winter if we have ice. That was the thing. This is a picture of when we had ice, nice looking ice, and there's a lot of people out there that day. This next picture has a picture of our ice rink this year. It's a puddle. We had 2 days of ice skating this year. It was kind of disappointing, but we had a lot of fun and we still did a lot of business, just not the hundreds of people that we usually have. The bottom picture shows the skate park and all of the pieces, most of the pieces that came with the group that they bought that 20 years ago. So they'd like to fix it up a little bit. There's kids have gone away from skating. Now there's a new bunch of kids that want to try skateboarding. So they want to fix it up. They've asked, and I said we'd look into it. That'll be one of the things I'm looking into, or the board will be looking into. Inside we have air hockey, ping pong, pool table, board games. We offer them Wi-Fi. We have a piano so everybody gets exposed to music once in a while. Outside they can play with the basketballs and the soccer balls. We don't know what's going to happen with the tennis court just yet. We offer concessions. I have plenty of a variety of food. We keep it at almost cost. It's a few pennies over, but not much, because we really can't force them to pay 3 times what we pay for it. I run to the store, I buy things on sale, I make sure we are at least holding our own with serving. We just can't afford to feed them a meal every day like happens in other places in town. But they're good. They're good. They come in and they buy what they can afford, and we try to help them out a little bit as much as we can. We've received plenty of donations over the last year. We've had community members that have just come in and made donations, like I said, skates or things that we need. And we have a can on the counter, and that seems to collect a few dollars now and again. The Lakeside Tour of Homes, they gave us a nice donation. Family Fair, we raised 1,000 or 10,000 points to get $1,000 from them. Local steelworkers from Martin Marietta, they've given us a couple of really hefty donations. The World of Arts and Craft also gave us a donation this year. In the past, we've gotten donations from the Little River Band of Ottawa Indians, the Wiesner family, and Mr. Grabowski and the Cooper family have generously donated that shed that sits out at Sands Park. It is just a godsend to have the skates right there for us, and when the guys come to put up the rink, everything is right there for them, so they don't have to haul it from the garage, and it comes out a lot cleaner and hopefully a little bit more efficient. We added areas of concern, just some things that we thought might need looking at. the electric sockets in the walls are kind of old and they probably should be replaced. I've mentioned that to the city before, but I thought I'd bring it up just because we need to get that on the list. It's one of our concerns. The front door has a hinge that seems to be bent. If we could somehow unbend it. We don't want a new door, we just somehow want to unbend that new hinge. And the tile floor is having some wear issues. I don't know how we go about fixing that, but we'd like to work on fixing that. And if we could communicate to whoever we need to do that to get that done, that's an issue for us. Otherwise, we don't have any issues. We're trying to work on our annual fundraisers, and we're going to have a yard sale on Memorial Day, which we do every year. We have some people helping us to work on some grant money, and we hope to make some upgrades to the equipment and things that we offer at the teen center.
Now, who do you send a request to when you need some of that work done?
Who do I send the request to? I'm not sure anymore. I used to know, but things have changed, and so.
Who does the work up there for you when you do?
Sometimes we do it, sometimes we get our families to do it, sometimes the DPW comes and does it, sometimes the community comes and helps us do it. We've had a lot of different ways, but the latest is we're trying to go through the proper channels to get things done.
Bill, would they be reporting to you or over to Jeff?
So, looking at the agreement, it did kind of say certain things are handled by the AAY. We did put in the new furnace, and that's working well. But so I think we can visit. I think like little items, I think that could probably be handled by the AAY. Bigger items, I think it's a partnership. So we want them to be successful and be safe. So we can work through these items with them.
So go through the AAY and let them then decide
Yeah,
where to go from there.
and Sheila, if you send me a list, I'll talk to staff about it, and we'll have a discussion. So.
My pleasure.
That's quite the picture up there, Sheila. Did this kid clear those skateboard?
Isn't that something? Now, that was early. That was right after that.
Of course it was, but it was new.
Those children are now parents of children that they bring to the.
And they probably won't let their kids play down there, right?
Yep.
They're smart. Wow.
Yeah. The kids now don't do anything quite that drastic. They're still learning to use their scooters up and down those things. They are not anywhere near this level. Those were your boys.
Probably my kids are down there.
Yeah.
Our daughters are.
I'm telling you, they were.
Have to ask them. Thank you.
But it's 20 years since we worked on that, Dave?
Mm-hmm.
It's been a long time, Jim. I don't remember what year we put that in.
Yeah, I don't either.
20 days, 20 years.
Anybody else got any questions? Thank you,
For
Sheila.
your years of service, that's awesome.
Oh, well.
Appreciate it. The kids do too.
Yep.
Discussion on fiscal year 2024-2025 budget. Administration has prepared the proposed 2024-2025 fiscal year budget. It was introduced to council at the community at the April 2nd, 2024 council meeting by the finance director. A public hearing to review these budget recommendations and receive public input on them took place earlier in this meeting. In addition to tonight's discussion, a budget study session took place on April 9th, and an optional study session could be added Tuesday, April 23rd. The budget calendar anticipates adoption of the budget at the Tuesday, May 7th, 2024 meeting.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to thank council and staff for their work on the budget. If there's any other items you'd like to discuss, we can do that tonight, or you can send me an email of any questions. But appreciate the engagement on April 9th, council.
Well, Bill, I got a call at home this morning, and the woman burned my ear for about an hour. They went through the budget, and they work on some of the committees around town. And she wanted to know why we need more people at City Hall. It just increases when we hire somebody part-time. The next year, we seem to hire them full-time, and now they're getting more pay. Where's the budget handling all this? Then, of course, you get benefits that people complain about. And so, a lot of people are just worried about hiring more people. And if we hire an in-house lawyer, like we talked about, that's gonna be another 100 and some thousand. I don't know where we're gonna go for that. A lot of these lawyers, even if we hire an in-house lawyer, a lot of them don't have the labor credentials and all the other kind of work that we need done.
There's no in-house labor in this budget though, is there, Jim? There's not.
No, we're just talking about, but.
I get it, but it's not,
Put
it's
it in the
not
budget.
in this budget yet.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
not in the
all right.
budget. Then she talked about a lot of the parks, how rather than hiring these people in-house, how it could go through the parks, DPW, whatever needs to get some of this work done. Because we're wasting a lot of time.
Was there a specific, so we're at a couple of part-time positions. One was with community development and with having, bringing inspections in-house with rental and with, so that was kind of something with building inspections, I think kind of helping schedule those things. That was kind of something that I wanted to support, Jerry and Teresa with. But was there a specific, we're not proposing any new full-time employees. It's just kind of part-time, 20 hours per week. The contractor position, we had a contractor work on with building maintenance. You saw some of the improvements there that, as we mentioned at the staff meet, or at the last study session, that was more of a succession plan. Mark's going to be retiring in a couple of years, so, and this kind of trialed him out with contractor work, and this is kind of part-time basis, so.
Right, I tried to explain that to this lady.
Okay.
And she said, well, then why do you need a part-time for a couple of years when you could hire this guy when Mark retires? So that's another problem.
Okay. And then the blade off, okay.
Then she brought up the street signs that we want to get, it's in the budget. And she said, why would you put a logo on a street sign? People don't even look up at the street signs. She said, everybody's using their GPS to get around any town they go to. So that was another thing she got kind of concerned about. Then, of course, she brought up about, the taxes are going up, and as we keep hiring people, we need more money, and, you gotta understand, a lot of people don't have the money, their jobs don't pay that much, they don't get benefits, and with the prices of what's going on with the economy, it's really hurting a lot of people. And so we need to kind of slow this down and let people get back to having something. Then the thing is that the Lions Pavilion, that calendar is not being kept up. Even the Parks Department complained to me about that. It's still from 2003, and I don't know if anybody's put anything in over the winter, I suppose not. But, we gotta keep the thing up to date. If we rent it out and they pay $100, we gotta keep that calendar up to date.
You're done with the one physically on site at the?
Yeah.
Okay, I can look into that. It should be, I know we've been taking reservations, so it's whether or not printing it out, we can, I think that'll be updated. Thank you.
I had a couple of things. So the street signs was a concern that I have had a couple calls on too, and I guess I'm just wondering, do all the street signs need to be replaced? I mean, it says between 24 and 29 for capital improvements, $20,000 each year, so it'd be a total of $100,000. I mean, like in the historic district, some of the people that had called me said that they live over there, they really like the historical looking black and white street signs, and they're like, if they're legible, why would we replace them? If they're not legible, then they're like, that makes sense to replace them, or if there's a street sign that's damaged, but do all the street signs overall just need to be replaced? And I guess my worry with the logo, not that I'm opposed to it, but like 10 years from now, if we change out our logo, then is it gonna be we need to change all the signs again? You know what I mean? Like, that's my only concern with the logo. I think it's a good idea, but if you change, because if you go around town now, like the rec sign at the Sands Park says, or the Sands Park sign says underneath a Victorian Port City. We've kind of changed away, so I don't know if it'd be better just to do a sign versus putting a brand on it too, because then when you change your brand, it kind of outdates everything.
Just a couple of things. I believe so there's reflective requirements now with signs, so that's the only issue with the black and white ones, and
Okay.
they do need to be updated, a lot of them, but I understand this is a newer logo. I think we're only doing certain sections at a time, right, Jeff?
Yeah, the city manager's correct. The black and white ones don't meet current standards for traffic control, so now there's different requirements for retroreflectivity and the size and width and so forth. When we rebuilt 12th Street from Maple to 31, that was the first time that we chose to upgrade all the signs, the street signs along that corridor, and I think it went pretty well. I understand most people use their phones, but it's something that I notice. It's something I notice wherever I travel,
Right.
but it makes me notice it more and more in the city. So we upgraded that corridor, and then we've had some internal discussions that personally I would like to start with the major streets and upgrade those as a corridor so that we keep them consistent, we keep them clean. I think when they're hung, right now they're hung all over the place, they're mixed, they're different. So what we decided is for the projects that we have under construction this summer, which will be upgrades on 8th Street, 6th Street, and Lincoln. All of those, the sign upgrades are included in the contract that we bid out. And then what I asked or requested in the budget was an allocation, thinking that in an annual, you know, on a yearly basis, I could do a corridor like all of Maple Street or all of 8th or 5th Street. And then that would take quite a bit of time actually to get all the major streets done. And then we could start working on the local streets and make them all uniform and consistent was my thought.
Well, when you explain the reflective part, that makes sense, but it wasn't in here.
Yeah.
And I think maybe if we explain that to the public, they'd understand why. Because some people are just like $100,000 for street signs. I mean, a couple of people are like, my street is a bigger issue than the sign.
Sure.
So, you know, it's like they didn't understand it. But when you say that about the law changing or the expectations, that makes total sense.
Yeah, and the black and white ones, those have been repainted
Yeah.
dozens of times, and they're hand,
Yeah.
you know, the white is just hand traced on them again, and we haven't been trying to revive those in at least 5-6 years. We've been purchasing new.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the other question I had, which might pertain to Mr. Mercula, or you might be able to provide some input. There were a couple things under the capital improvements, like repainting the light post and things like that. I guess I'm just wondering, we haven't talked about or really decided on a streetscape yet. So if we spent, like for the light posts, it said for over 24 and 25, 20,000 each year. If we spend $40,000 on repainting those light posts and then we do the streetscape, are we gonna keep those light posts? Because I guess what I'd hate to see is us spend $40,000 to repaint them.
Yeah.
And then say we no longer want these light posts.
So, over the past couple of years, we've been having those conversations with the DDA, the city manager, and if you look at the fluted cast iron posts that are up and down River Street,
Yeah.
they're fading. They need to be repainted. So, that 20,000, even 40,000 isn't gonna be close enough to do all of them.
Okay.
So what we've tried to do is peel off, 20,000 in the current budget, 20,000 in the upcoming budget to try to build the funds up. And then also, we didn't want to spend anything and do, a section of it this year. And then lo and behold, the streetscape's going to change something. So we've kind of built up the funds, but if the lights change as part of the streetscape, certainly that money can be reallocated.
Okay.
Are we gonna do those lights at the same time we do the streetscape?
That's potential,
Okay.
yes. Or I'm trying to figure out a way of having contractors come in and do them on site right now, and I'm working with a couple different companies. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of opportunity to do that, so we would actually have to probably remove sections at a time, ship them off, have them sandblasted, reprimed, repowder coated, or epoxy.
Wouldn't it be cheaper to buy new ones?
Absolutely not.
No?
Yeah, we've had several of them hit, right? We had one by the Marina, one by the United Way. This winter, we had one up on Division by Manistee Tire. It's taken us 3 to 8 months to get those, and they're They're over $5,000 a piece. I mean, just expensive just for the iron. There has been some discussion about converting those to LEDs though. But,
Plastic would look good.
what's that?
Plastic would be cheaper.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
The last question I had, and I don't expect an answer tonight, so you can get back to us. I know the DDA asked to, they submitted a reduction, and I get why they've done that, but I guess my concern is, are we gonna be able to provide those services for what they're wanting to pay? So is there a discussion that we need to have on that as far as expectations or what those services might look like compared to what they were paying, and what they're gonna pay? And is there some wiggle room on, with some of the streetscape stuff or like the light post or something like that, if they're gonna pay us less, would they be willing to maybe contribute to some of those things that are specifically in the DDA district that they're capturing tax dollars for?
So we are kind of looking at what a basic level of service would be, what an enhanced level of service would be, what the difference is, and then you're right, I mean, the watering of the hanging baskets, the watering of the flower beds, I mean, or just those flower boxes, so something like that, maybe they want to put in irrigation, so I think those conversations are going to come. So we actually had a meeting today about that agreement internally, and so we're kind of getting that all fleshed out, and then we'll have the discussion when it comes to council.
Because I'm just thinking, everybody loves it when you give money back, but then 5 years from now, if we say, hey, we want all this money back now, and we want a more increase, people don't usually like that conversation. It doesn't go as well. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Jim, do you have anything else?
Are we, Josh, plugging in that blight information into the computers? Because we haven't had a report on blight for a long time. You said they were gonna, we're working with somebody to put with Scotty Mack to put the blight, migration resources in the community. Do we have any kind of report for the blight?
Tonight, no. If you'd like a report, we can certainly provide that.
Well, I'll tell you why. And I think the mayor we have gotten reports of this. This is the worst looking. I mean, it's gotten worse. I've seen mattresses laying around, and the guy on Maple and Ninth, junk in that yard, and in this other yards all over. I'd like to see something getting done.
So what specifically would you like, just a blight update, what enforcement we've had this year? Is that what you're asking for, or?
Yeah, what's going on from last year to this year that
Okay.
we can change this?
I can tell you that since our schedule has stabilized, as I reported last time, we've assigned officer blight districts, and we're gonna work with Kelly McCall to publish that this week on Facebook so that citizens know which officer to contact. Even though we are short-staffed, we're continuing to enforcement efforts, and also to remind citizens about See, Click, Fix as a
I know,
communication
but a lot of people don't, I mean, I know some people that said they couldn't even get into it. They don't, I mean, to me, I don't know if we can make it simpler or what, I don't know. But, a lot of people are having trouble getting into it.
And we could do a blight update and a demonstration on how to do it at the study session or at another meeting.
Okay,
So,
because
thank you.
a lot of people talk to me about it. Okay, let's go for now.
Thank you.
Aaron, do you have anything? Dave, you have anything?
No, thank you.
I just have a couple of things. I spoke to a couple of residents as well, and they're concerned about the added staff member and what additional services were coming with that. And I don't know if that's because it doesn't feel like it's understandable based on how it's written in the budget, or if they see it as just another expense, kind of similar to what Councilman Grabowski was talking about, but just kind of what are they getting for adding another part-time person? What benefit is it to them in their taxes and whatnot? So just we can kind of see it a little bit because we know where they're going and what they're doing, but I'm not sure that general public quite sees it clearly enough that way. So I don't know if it can just be explained a little bit more, or what that would look like in terms of what service they are getting out of it.
Was that a certain one of the part-time positions, or just?
Just kind of in general.
Okay.
Just kind of in general. And then just the possible street bond and the fire engine bond for the people living in town. The taxes are already really high, and feeling like that's a big ask. And then just commented about the attorney contract, and if that's something that's up for negotiation. Have we looked any other contracts with any other attorneys anywhere? And is there any room for that? Is that the best price we can get? That kind of thing. So those are just a couple of questions that I got across my desk.
Okay. And I know it was brought up about the attorney contract. I need to send that to the group, but yeah, there were no recommendation for changes in this budget, so, but I can send that to council, and we can take a look at some things if you'd like me to.
Okay. Good on
Right,
that?
that's all I have.
Okay, citizens comment. This is an opportunity for citizens in attendance to comment on municipal services, activities, or areas of city involvement, limited to 5 minutes. Letters submitted to council will not be publicly read. Go ahead.
I'm from Canada. My name is Bert Deary. I see a lot around with
Can you
this.
state your name and address, please?
Oh, Bert Deary, 301, apartment 7, 5th Avenue.
Thank you.
I'm from Cadillac, and I see a lot of things wrong with Manistee. You need more businesses to come on in here to flourish. So far, I hear about a lot of money. And another thing, you need quads and golf carts. That brings a revenue to Manistee. Like the west side of Cadillac, they're doing it. They're doing great. They're making a lot of money, and everybody's coming to Cadillac. So far, I haven't seen anything in Manistee. You only got 2 stores, Family Fair and Myers. You need more stores, more businesses to bring more revenue in, more money to bring in, and you guys would benefit. Cadillac is booming on the north end. They have grown so much. I mean, they are doing a lot better than what Manistee is doing. And Manistee is gonna go shrink, because you got no businesses downtown. You got nothing, and Cadillac has got more to offer. So you guys gotta get like a Walmart, Aldi, Save-A-Lot. Get businesses in here. You got a Culver's. I'm surprised you got that. But you guys gotta get businesses in here to grow. Cadillac is outpassing you. Reed City is outpassing you guys. McBain. All those guys are doing great. I mean, that's farm agriculture. They got tractors like crazy, and they're doing great out there. They're making money like hand over fist. Manistee, I don't see nothing. You guys need the businesses in. That's all I have to say. But the one thing I have to say is about the golf carts and quads. If you let one, you let all of them. If you don't let one, then don't do them at all. That's my point. If you let one person tap a tree, you gotta let everybody do it. Just not one thing, because you bring more revenue in. The more things you bring in, the more money you make. Makes sense. So, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go ahead and kind of finish up where I was at last week when I did run out of time.
Can you state your name and address first,
excuse
please?
me?
Can you state your name and address, please?
Yes, I can. I'm Jerry Johnson. I'm the owner of Gold and Silver Exchange, also a resident at 282 6th Avenue.
Thank
I
you.
also got a residence out at Bear Lake. So, you know, why I'm here again is to make aware of what's going on in this city. We got public officials making comments about people's personal businesses. It was done at a DDA meeting, and that's online if you want to look at it. And I can't ask questions, but I can also do it this way. Mr. Bill Campbell said in a meeting that I was evicted May 1st. He must know something I don't know, because I got no eviction notice at all. I mean, that's just ludicrous to me. You know, the behavior of this whole thing about the bird feeders and the bump outs and this and that. You know, I always tell people don't know what I do for a living. I never see none of y'all in my business. I have supported almost every business, including Lindsay's and everybody else down through that way, Spice Girls and everything else. I've messed with people's livelihoods, their personal wealth. I had a check for $250,000 handed to me, down to $1,000. And this is not just once or twice on the occasion. This is a lot. So we don't talk about professional. Lindsay at a DDA meeting is saying that we're picking on her. Well, let me explain to you what happened. She's the one that called the police officers on the bird feeders. She also was the one that we put chalk, sidewalk chalk, down saying we moved from 390 River Street to 431 until I could wait to get my sign. She's the one that came out and blew all that up. And then she's also the one that sent her mother and her mother's friend into my shop when I was at 390 to pick on Nikki and call her out on the ground and almost created a big fight. So I don't think Mrs. Sidorsky has anything to say in any public forum that we're picking on her. We did not do this. We did not start this. We are not going to start it. I wouldn't even allow it. I've been in business way too long. I've been in business over 40 years. I'm just wondering, how do we allow our people to talk in public forums this way? I mean, this is getting ridiculous. I mean, it just drives me nuts that is being done. I will be at the next DDA meeting to talk to my 5 minutes there too, because we are gone. We will be moving May 1st. I will be shut down probably around a month, and I'm moving out to Parkdale. So my money will go back out there. You know, I've been just begged not to shut my office, my business down here. I mean, truly, I don't think you understand what we do. We're not a low-class business. You walk in mine, it's professional as it can get, especially if it's a business. So we got a little youngster here before I run out of time. They said Devin is his name. He really wants to appreciate all the city council people that are here. This teaches our young men and girls, how the process works. But he also wants to tell you this. I want to thank, I want to thank the council for taking away my school job where I learned about coins, history of coins, and the gold and silver exchange, loved me, supported me, did birthday parties for him, and now we're moving plumb out there to where he can't even get to us. But he does want to understand. This young man is different. He really is. He likes to see all this. And we like to see him do it, all this. This is what we need, people like this, these young men coming in. And I appreciate your time. Thanks.
Thank you.
My name is Bill Schreier. I live at 183 Joslyn Cove. I'm new in Manistee, and I just want to point out some things I've noticed that I hope that you folks are aware of. One is coming southbound on 31, where you take a right on Monroe Street, has become Cobblestone Street right there, and that's just, it's bad for cars. Number two, for all the people who moved into Joslyn Cove there, these condominiums, there's no safe way to cross the street with your dogs to go for a walk on the other side of the street. So if there's a traffic engineering department or safety department in this town, I don't know of it, but those are the people that would look at something like that to find out about safe ways to egress and so forth. And the last thing is, let's see, the roads, that's it, I think. Just the roads in general around here are in deplorable shape. Is that a normal thing here? Because where I came from Colorado Springs, we have vicious winters there. But in the spring, they're on it just like that, and the streets are repaved and taken care of. I have not seen that here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Rainey Gilmore. I'm actually in Filer Township, but I'm at 3467 Wildwood. I'm actually just here on behalf of the Manistee Library. I really wanted to highlight positive things here about how much the library has done in the last few years, and it's because we're going to be having we're going to have a vote for a renewal for the millage in August, and I want to make sure that not only that you know what we've done in the last year and years to add to our services, but also to reach out and say, we're here if you think of something, or any of the citizens in the county thinks of anything that they think we could do more, because, we're here for that. So I just want to highlight a couple things on here on the, I think you have this, right? Just the 554 programs held just in last year at the library. 8,584 program in attendance, 601 summer reading signups, 594 hotspots borrowed. I have to say that I came from a suburb on the other side of the state, and we had over 100,000 people in our city, and we only had one library. They closed 2 of them because they never moved with the times. They only had books. And this library, system, we have 6 actual libraries in the county, which is, I think, amazing. They do a great job with making sure they rotate things so that it's, the outskirts don't have nothing, while the Carnegie Library here has everything. I just think they've done such a fabulous job with all the reading programs, all the added library of things. If anybody doesn't know that, we do let people borrow hotspots. We let people use services where they can go do their ancestry at the library. They do so many things and so many programs that I just wanted to highlight that, and we're hoping that people will support the renewal of the millage. It will not be additional money. So, thank you. I've put my email address by my name in case you think of anything you want to contact me about.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's John Helge. I live at 450 Cedar Street. I've got some good news for you today. Jeff, could you come up? Let's turn it around. I'm here to tell you that the city of Manistee has met all the qualifications to become a Tree City USA in 2024. And again, I give a lot of credit. By the way, I'm representing your tree commission, and Jeff is our main advisor for that, and our Department of Public Works folks are doing a tremendous job out there. Not only trimming and cutting trees down, but making sure that our trees are healthy. We're going to plant 44 new trees this year through our Manistee Plant a Tree program. And we're going to have a Arbor Day celebration next Friday, the 26th of April, at 1 o'clock at Morton Park. Why Morton Park? The Morton Company is affiliated with the Morton Arboretum in Lisle, Illinois. And the same man that started Morton Salt started that arboretum, which is the most famous arboretum in North America. So again, I invite all of you here, all the folks that are here today, at 1 o'clock at Morton Park, and we're going to put a tree in the ground there and help that become even a better urban forest. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Shane Machen. I live at 622 Ramsdale Street. I just came tonight to support the new part-time blight officer. I live on Ramsdale. I've lived there for about a decade. And the one thing that really stops us from expanding or making a ton of changes really is the blight that is in that area. It's not really a good return on investment for us building an addition or putting in a driveway in that space. I recently drove around the streets in my area just to see, is it just a Ramsdale problem or what is it? And on Vine, Manistee Street, High Street, Engelman, Ramsdale, Sibin, and Kosciuszko, so obviously all in the same area, at least a dozen houses on each of those streets had mattresses, trash, rotting pumpkins, overflowing garbage cans, pieces of siding on houses that are falling off. In one case, there was broken windows. There's a lot going on there, and I certainly know that there's a lot of reasons for blight to exist. I know that in this economy, certainly, people are having trouble buying groceries, so it's not my expectation that these properties would be pristine or perfect, but it is my expectation that all of us would live in a way that we respected our streets and our neighbors. So I think that a part-time blight officer could stay busy for a year just on the streets that I listed. And so it's my hope that you would support that portion of the budget. If cost is a concern, I appreciate the comments that were made tonight about cost-saving efforts that can be made. I think that as a former government employee, we do a really good job kind of expanding and thinking about new opportunities. We don't do as good of a job thinking, is everything we have really serving us? And if not, maybe it's time to reallocate those resources to spaces that the community continues to complain about. I've heard about blight at almost every city meeting that I've attended, whether it's city council or the county commission or any of your committees that I've been to. And so my hope is that we could, respond to that community response with actual services. And so I think that the police will do a great job with that. And so my hope is that you would support that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nicole Bromley, 282 6th Avenue. That was some apology I got for cutting me off, so I will continue from the beginning. Mr. Smith, about 6 meetings ago, you told me I should be ashamed of myself. Giving that some thought, assuming your way of thinking about shame is correct, here's what else I should be ashamed of. I should be ashamed that we donate $1,000 every year to Trooper Butterfield's scholarship and that I baked over 300 cookies for his funeral. I should be ashamed that I walk with Curtis every morning as he waits for me on the corner so he can walk me into the shop where he's been making coffee for years. I should be ashamed of getting Kenny Coombs $2 a day for coffee at the Outpost for 10 years. I should be ashamed of cleaning houses for veterans during the week, even though I work 6 days a week. I should be ashamed of making sure our customers are treated special for their birthdays by making them lasagna or their favorite dessert. I should be ashamed of having an annual Thanksgiving down at our shop for the homeless, the veterans, and anyone alone, where they can eat on glass plates, use real cloth napkins, and sit down together, say a prayer, and eat as a family. I should be ashamed of my sister, who for 10 years have hand-knitted scarves and mittens for anyone in need. I should be ashamed of giving children treats and rocks and jewelry for free when they walk into our shop. I should be ashamed for footing the bill for the armory dance because no other business donated. I should be ashamed for every holiday having a giving tree where children and adults can take any item they want, wrapped pretty for $1 donation, where 100% goes to Homeward Bound. I should be ashamed of having Customer Appreciation Day, where we feed our customers and welcome the surrounding businesses. I should be ashamed of helping out the needy when they need Christmas presents for the kids, every year being a real Santa with no name attached. I should be ashamed of encouraging kids to draw pumpkins on the sidewalk in chalk for a Halloween treat. I should be ashamed of offering free hot chocolate to anyone on the cold street. I should be ashamed of keeping track of all the children we watch grow up and having them run into our shop every summer to get measured. I should be ashamed of being so close with our customers' children that we get invited to their graduations and their weddings. I should be ashamed of shopping locally downtown every holiday where I purchase gift certificates from D&Do at the Spice Shop, Patty at Northern Spirits, buy books at Happy Owl, get $100 gift certificates from the Bluefish, coffee certificates from Port City Brew for Curtis, buy Michelle and Becky at gift certificates for Glick, Snyder's for shoes, get my hair cut at Sarah's and at the Black Lotus. We send people to eat at Talk About It at River Street Station, have coffee at the Outpost. We buy lots of books from Jim at the used bookstore. We have our chairs refurnished from Kevin at Matheson's. We buy movie tickets from Corey at the Vogue for most Thursday nights, and we buy t-shirts from Vicky for our visiting friends from the Bluefish. I should be ashamed of helping Roger Gertz stay in his home while people on this council were doing everything to get him out. I should be ashamed of saying good morning to everyone I pass as I walk by every morning. I should be ashamed of helping out the needy by supplying free food for anyone hungry. I should be ashamed of providing coins and jewelry for the MCC fundraisers every fall. I should be ashamed for buying pies at the Glenwood. I should be ashamed of trading jewelry for bread and cookies with Loida at our Daily Bread. I should be ashamed for buying little flags and passing them out to children for tight lines for the troops. I should be ashamed of taking care of the little birds so they don't get squished by cars. So, Trooper Smith, with your way of thinking and your definition of ashamed, I should go on and on about the things that I am ashamed of. But what I am truly ashamed of, with the real definition of shame, is the fact that only one complaint by a former council member, Mary Russell, to Mayor Sullivan, complaining on behalf of Lindsay Swiderski, who sits on the Vogue board with her, and where she sits on the DDA with Bill Gamble. I'm ashamed of this corrupt council and police force, and that shame is driving us to let everyone I know and anyone who will listen to make sure you will not be reelected to anything. We have been approached by at least 20 people with their own stories to share so that the Attorney General's office can have what they need to end this bullying. What you cost your community was a lot. You hurt those kids that walk down after school to fill their coin books. You hurt the people that come down because they are having a bad day and need a spot to feel better. You've hurt the veterans who walk down with paperwork they can't quite fill out or need computer help. You hurt all the people that count on us to make a difference that we always rise up to meet. You haven't hurt us. You've just forced out another business that helps carry your tourists, and we have over 1,000 signatures to prove it. This is a fact, Mr. Smith, and not a threat, and you are about to learn the difference. We have been threatened to the point that we've had to notify outside authorities if something should happen to any of us. If you are ignorant to think this is really about a bird feeder, then where are all the tickets for the people in this city who have bird feeders under 4 feet? Scott Lorraine, who lives above us and doesn't own a car and is almost home 24/7, didn't get a ticket. You think this is about bird feeders? This is about abuse of power, and we are fed up.
Thank you. Anybody else? Mr. Gamble?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Any other? Mr. Pratt?
I just had a couple things. So when we're talking about blight, I guess I'm just wondering if with this part-time position, if there might be some blight education. I guess I'm wondering if some people know how to dispose of a mattress, or do you know what I mean? If there's some way to educate the public.
I think NRBC would be a great resource for
Yeah.
that, to develop that strategy, make a recommendation to council.
Yeah.
And we have really unprecedented resources towards blight in the past few years as far as grants and programs. We have a commission. We've tore down more houses in the last few years than we have in the last 15 years. So I think that group is a great group, well-suited, to come up with some of those strategies.
Yeah, I think that might help push the initiative a little further.
Sure.
So, that was it on blight. Sorry. And then I just had, I had a resident reach out, so I went and looked. The section on 8th and 9th Street going like Concord between 8th and 9th, the sidewalk, like the grass is really overgrown on the sidewalk, or Lexington, sorry, not Concord. Lexington. This grass is really overgrown. You can't even really tell there's a sidewalk. Somebody's got a hose going across it. So if you're not looking down, I feel like somebody's gonna trip, and I just don't know if we can do something about that, if that's the homeowner's responsibility, if the DPW does that. But I just feel like that's an accident waiting to happen.
First, let me make sure I got the correct location.
So you start at 8th Street and you're gonna go Lexington down towards 9th.
Towards 9th, okay.
Yep.
We can take a look at it. By
Yeah.
ordinance, it's the property owner's responsibility, but we can certainly look at it.
I don't know if it's changed hands, but I believe a elderly woman used to live there, so it might just be something she can't do, so maybe the NRBC or somebody could help with that. I don't know who the right group would be, but I also don't know, I mean, I get why she might be running the hose if it's who used to live there, like, so her plants get watered, but I wouldn't want somebody to trip and then say, who's gonna be responsible for that?
We'll go take a look at it.
We'll be on the west
Oh,
side.
I thought thought I said something.
No.
Okay. That was it. I had somebody else reach out about the fire extinguishers on the boardwalk. There's none of them in the boxes, and they were wondering why that was. So I don't know if they got taken and put in for the winter. I don't know if that stuff has to be taken in because of weather, but there's no.
Location?
On the Riverwalk, there's no fire extinguishers in the boxes. And I went and checked, because I thought that was odd.
Yeah, Jeff, the marina issue, when the marina opens up, they put them back in there for.
So I didn't know if.
At the marina itself, yeah.
I don't think there's any fire thing anywhere else other than the marina, is there, Jeff?
I can't think of
It
any.
might just be, but there's like 4 or 5 boxes, and they might all be related to the marina, but, because I didn't
I
walk the
think they're all in
whole
the
thing.
marina section there. and
That could be.
When the marina opens, I think they put them back out.
I think that's correct, but
Okay.
I'll verify that.
I didn't want to tell them we took them in if that's not how that was supposed to be, so I
Let me
didn't.
verify that.
Okay. And that was it. We took the one item off. I just had received a lot of phone calls about vacating those 2 streets and just the communication. So I hope we can have a discussion on that at some point. So that was it.
Thanks. Mr. Grabowski?
Are we gonna have a meeting on those 2 vacated streets?
Yep, so the Act 51 map is due to the state, but yeah, I'm gonna reach out. I called the one property owner, and I think we'll have a, kind of talk about options for them, but
Are
we
we having a
will.
work session?
I think a work session or on a future council meeting, we can discuss it, go over it, and,
I think if we don't have much on a work session, some night we could put it in there.
okay, we will, yep, thank you.
The only other thing is that, like I was telling you earlier about increasing the rates and taxes. And, I mean, the water rate increase is 0, but then we're increasing the sewer rate. And so that's where I'm coming up with this. People can't keep affording this just so we can switch over all the funds we get in the water over to the sewer, or the sewer rates, and switch them over to doing the pipes and that around town. I know it's nice to have the money in the budget, but it's people just can't keep affording this. One year, I think we gave them a break on water bills.
So just to clarify, the rate study that we refreshed, and I think we presented maybe about a year ago, tried to maintain an aggregate 3.5% increase, which is what we've probably done for close to the last 10 years with that one year exception. And we were trying to do that with higher water rates because we have more needs now than we do in the sewer, and lower sewer rates than what we had traditionally done in the past. The way the budgets worked out, the way the inflationary cost pressures have happened, timing of projects, that wasn't going to work this year. But we adjusted the rates such so that the overall aggregate rate for a typical bill is still just a little over 3.5%. And that's the intent, is to keep it there, which is what we've been doing and what is needed to support the system. So it looks a little odd because the percentages are different, but overall it comes out to that same percentage that we had talked about, just for clarification.
Yeah, because people don't know between the 0 to the 5, so.
Mr. Bob?
Just want to thank Sheila Kaminsky for her report on the area youth and your work down there. I appreciate all that you do and your comments. That's it.
So I just have one thing. Is Teresa here? Okay. Can we get another update out to the public on what's going on with the chill grant? Because I've just been telling people that we're still waiting on the state, and yeah.
So with the Chill Grant, about 2 weeks ago, we started back doing the sessions again with the state. We're doing our classes, going over each chapter every week. So what had happened is a first group of us that applied for the Chill Grant, saying that we're townships, cities, counties, villages, applied for the Chill Grant. Just a small group of us got accepted to have the Chill Grant. They then opened it back up. With that opening with the second round, we had to pause and wait for the second group to catch up to us. So now they've just started back in with like income verification, that sort of thing. So now we're all on the same path. The state only has to process and do everything just once with us. Now what we're doing is doing income verification. After we submit some workbook information to them, we are going to be able to release the applications. We're still hoping just a couple more weeks. It's just that we have to get with our state rep that is going to approve that, make sure that we're asking all the correct questions, and then we'll be able to release those. Once we release those, we'll give everybody acclimate time, couple weeks to get all their information together.
Okay.
So,
Okay. All right. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, consideration of a closed session, attorney-client privilege communication, request to convene a closed session pursuant to Open Meetings Act, PA 267 of 1976, pursuant to MCL 15.2681H, to discuss attorney-client privilege communication from legal counsel dated April 12, 2024. At this time, council could take action to proceed into closed session. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Heather, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Bachmann.
Yes.
Councilmember Lundberg.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilmember Pratt. Yes. Mayor Pro Tem Grabowski.
Yes.
Councilmember Martin Pontiac. Motion approved.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we are going to return to open session. It's 9:12.
And motion to adjourn?
Motion adjourned.